What is up, YouTube? Taking a look at the property that my family owns in Minnesota, seeing how everything looks after spring. Think about it, hunting season's only a few months away. So, just kind of out here taking a gander. Haven't seen a whole lot of wildlife today, which is kind of unusual. Seen some ducks, seen some teal and some mallards. But had an opportunity to borrow my stepdad's Ranger and go for a little cruise and just kind of get a little bit of a reset. Go hang out in some of my spots that I enjoyed spending time as a kid. Camera flipped around here. So this is half of our property. Got a nice little stream that runs through here. And got a little pond up here. We'll see that when we get over the top of the hill. But this is the part of our property that I deer hunt on. This blue barrel up here is where my deer stand sits. This is one of my favorite places to come hang out as a kid. My deer stand is, I think, about 12 to 15 feet tall when it's all set up. So I get a really nice view of this little slough down at the bottom here. Get a lot of deer traffic through here that they stopping to take a drink or going from property to property. So being set up on top of this hill, I can see everything coming all the way around me. We got my grandparents' field that they own there. The renters always have crops in there, so we know we got a food source. And then this ravine cuts through the property back there as well, so able to see all of that when I'm up in the stand. There's the sky. So this is just a place I like to come hang out. It's very peaceful, very scenic. Every once in a while, get lucky and can see some deer out here in the spring of the year. They're pretty desensitized to traffic. My boys like to ride their go kart, and they'll come out here and rip around, and it's just a peaceful spot to hang out. That's kind of what I was looking for today. We were gonna go fishing. Wind picked up quite a bit. Thank you, Trigger. Yeah, it's beautiful. Um, this is only half of the property that I hunt, but this is my deer hunting portion of it. Hey, Isaac, this is where I do a lot of deer hunting. Occasionally, I'll pheasant hunt over here. Just not as many birds over here. All this out in front of us is state land. My grandpa actually used to own everything you're seeing on camera past that fence. And back in the day, when you couldn't farm something and you needed to help the farm out with some extra cash, you got rid of the land you couldn't farm. So now it is a waterfowl production area for the state of Minnesota. And I truly enjoy when I come out and I'm sitting in my deer stand and I look out into the state land and you can see a dad and his son out. Maybe they're hunting for the first time, or you see a group of 10 or 15 guys out pushing it for pheasants. And I mean, it's a tough walk. There's a lot of this thicker brush and stuff. There's a creek that runs through all of it, lots of hills. Riley, So yeah, this public land is good too, and I take advantage of it. I hunt it as well, but it's just crazy to think that I used to be part of this as well. That my family owned, and I honestly didn't know that until last fall when I was bringing my deer stand in. My grandpa, he is 93 years old. He rode out with me to grab the deer stand, and he was telling me about how he used to own all this over here as well. So, but I'm happy they went to a place like state of Minnesota where now we can get other families out hunting on it. There are fish in the creek that runs through there. It's just very inconsistent on how often it's A, fishable, and B, a fish can even get in there because it is a very shallow body of water. But this used to all be grass to the right of me as well. That's like my mom's place up there. This used to all be grass. Uh, the renter wanted some more land, so we were able to accommodate that, and they could actually farm it. So we did lose a little bit there, and that is unfortunate. We used to have more pheasants on this side until that happened, but you can't have all the land all the time, I guess. But if you guys liked this side of the property, the other side, that's it's a very scenic side. There's a lot more aesthetic, I guess. Bigger slough. You can see the creek fully. Got some trees. Got a couple food plots. So I'm just gonna get scooted down the road here quick, and we will check it out. So we own all this back to the slough that you can kind of see, and I'll be able to give a little better idea once we get pulled up in here. The only issue with this spot is right straight in front of me. Like you can see, there's tire tracks going that way. With all the rain they've gotten down in the Morris area in the last week or so, I wouldn't dare because something about that stretch right there, you just sink right out of. Buried my pickup in there before. So, so up here in front of us, behind this tree, there's a food plot there. And honestly, if you guys want a better idea of like what our food plots and stuff look like after we plant them, we got a couple pheasant videos. They're not amazing. Just full heads up, full disclosure. They're not as good as freezing for pheasants, which is the top performing pheasant video I've ever made. And then my one from last year was equally as popular, but they're both done in North Dakota. I typically don't even film when I hunt here because it's just I'm doing it for me when I come hunt this property. It's going back home. It's reliving my childhood. And yeah, Morris is only an hour away, but I don't make it back here very often. Between work and trying to film for KFO and make content and events with the Sportsman's Club up in Wapaton, being on the board for that, it's pretty rare I make it back home unless it's hunting season and then come back a little bit more. But when you live in North Dakota and South Dakota is only an hour from your front door, you got a lot of options. But we'll take a look here. So this is our another food plot here. This is usually where I get my pheasants out of. It's where Kaiser does a lot of his getting back into it work. It's where we kind of warm up for a season before we go start traveling farther into the Dakotas. So we got the Muddy Creek running through all the way here, and that connects to the Pomme de Terre River. Got that slough back there. I can't even tell you how many times I've duck hunted back there growing up. Shot my one and only black duck back there. So that was pretty cool. And then usually these cattails, when it's drier years, we're actually able to mow paths through them. So then we can get to that hill on the other side, which is also part of the property. And then on the years out of try, we're able to get to those farther hills there, which are also part of the property. So, but it looks like there's the potential for it to be a fairly wet year this year in this area. And that's kind of one of the weird things about Morris, Stevens County area is like you can get a couple inches of rain in town, and we're only 5 miles from town, and we won't get a drop. So we either get none of the rain or we get all the rain. But this is one of my favorite places on earth to hang out. Pheasant hunt, duck hunt. See, we got ducks getting up right there. Deer hunt. Just a super cool place. We used to have a deer stand in the trees that were behind me, and then that blew over. A storm. It was really cool. It was a homemade deer stand. My grandpa took the top half of an old windmill that was on the farm site, and he cut it off. He built a box on top of it. The frame is still here, so we can walk up here. I'll show you guys that. Wood's pretty rotted out now. I don't know that I would dare climb up there. The trees through here have grown up a lot as well, so won't have as good of a view as when we first moved it out here, but you can see it in the trees there. So that was one of our deer stands that we put out from an old windmill base. And then there used to be another deer stand straight across below those shrubs on the other side. And I think even the legs on the Broadway now. So time marches on, or whatever that country song says. We're just having a good day outdoors. Zero stress, zero expectations. Check the property out, go do some more fishing. Was down on the Pomme de Terre River fishing this morning, trying to find some walleyes. Was not able to do that. Threw the tackle box at them. Twister tails, walleye assassins, Rapplas, Berkeleys. Even tried some spoons and just no luck. So I got to figure out where I'm going next. I got to figure out my next move as far as a lake or a river in the Morris area. And the Morris area does have some smaller lakes around, but nothing I've ever had a ton of luck with fishing from shore. Fishing from a boat, little different story. So I might just stay on the river grind today. If it wasn't so windy, the initial plan was to go up to Detroit Lakes in Minnesota, southeast of Fargo, I think is the right direction, and was going to go for some muskies. But there is nowhere to hide on that lake. It is wide open. All the structure on that lake is under the water. So I was not willing to fight the boat trying to find muskies out there. And honestly, on a new lake, I'd like to know what it's like before I get up there and there's 25-mile-an-hour wind. But I did decide to download and get the Onyx Fish app last night. So I've been doing a lot of research. Hopefully, we got some cool lakes that I plan on going to in the next couple weeks in North Dakota, and maybe even dip down into South Dakota for a couple trips. And then, of course, Minnesota. We got to go after those muskies again. We got to keep the muskie mission going strong and try and catch another muskie. It's been a while for me. It's been over a decade since I caught my last one. So I don't know. What do you guys like to fish for that are watching right now? Do you fish at all? If you don't fish, do you hunt? What are you guys up to today? Been up to this summer? I pretty much fish for everything, and for hunting, primarily I would say pheasants. I love waterfowl hunting. It's just getting harder to do. It's getting harder to do because North Dakota now that they've switched to electronic posting and stuff, and not that I'm for it or against it, it's whatever for me. But since North Dakota switched to electronic posting, it's getting really hard to get on fields to waterfowl hunt. So I don't do it as much as I used to. I miss it, but I still try and get out and waterfowl hunt at least once a year. I'm gonna go try and find my next lake or river. I think we might go try the Chippewa River next. Super big rush to get back up to Wahpeton, so got a couple places I can try along the way. And hopefully you guys will join us. I'll probably end up doing another live from wherever we stop to fish. Could even make a run over to Minnewaska and go for some panfish for a little bit. Try that over in good old Hobo Park. It's another childhood hangout spot of mine. We used to go camping over there every weekend. And boy, that place has changed since the last time I was there. Now, I don't think there's room for another camper over there. So we'll check in maybe from Hobo Park, maybe from a river, or maybe even from back home. But thank you guys that joined in as we kind of checked out my home property for pheasants and deer and ducks and stuff, and seeing where the food plots were, what they were looking like. And hopefully you guys will subscribe and like and stick around for the adventure and enjoy some time outside on your own.